It has been a long time since I have posted anything on this channel. And I wanted to come on and say hello and give account for that. I don't think this video is going to be too long. I'm sure you've seen the title, Surviving Survival, The Cost of Overcoming, and that is going to tie into a bit of me explaining where I've been, where Asha has been. And to be fair, Asha would probably be here if, I were more on top of it. But anyone who's been through anything really, really challenging, especially for a prolonged period of time, can attest to either themselves personally feeling this way or having heard of this being something that happens, which is when you are finally in a place to be able to relax, to experience a bit of peace, you're not constantly in fight or flight anymore. Your body is able to actually stop and process what's been going on. And so you get sick more often, right? Like your body allows itself to really be tired, your immune system kind of takes a hit. And back in the fall, winter of 2023, even beginning of 2024, when I first moved out on my own after getting separated, I experienced that. I had strep throat, I had upper respiratory infection, I was getting colds, and yeah, it was pretty rough, and that was that. But then there could be something more. It's not always just that, right? And that can look like developing an autoimmune disease or condition, or I don't know. There's just so much more, but it's like deeper than that initial. A lot of people will say, like, oh, you're getting sick, that means you're healing. But there's a difference. There's a difference between just kind of getting sick and having these colds and then feeling inflamed, feeling burnt out, feeling like absolutely debilitated and you can't get out of your bed. And unable to function at all. Hi, Eagles fan, long time. Um, and that's something more. If you really look into it, things like adrenal fatigue, what happens to your body after it's been in a state of fight or flight for years and years and years, cortisol being elevated for long periods of time, and the effect that it has on so many different systems in your body. It affects your digestion, it affects your breathing. Hi. Even learning that, okay, if you're used to being anxious and being in fight or flight, that you do what's called chest breathing. And I never realized that I had switched over to chest breathing. Someone who is more, I guess, or less anxious, when you breathe, it's with your diaphragm. And your stomach goes out and in and out and in. But people who have experienced greater levels of anxiety and for more prolonged periods of time, you breathe mainly with your chest. And it's like, and that can cause inflammation. It can like tax your lungs and all these things. You have to retrain yourself to breathe through your diaphragm, and it's a whole thing. It can be a lot, and that's heavy. I don't know exactly what is going on with me, but I do know lately I've just been experiencing a lot of body pain, a lot of fatigue, and it's been really challenging to come on and make content for a while, for weeks now. Actually, I've wanted to come on and just kind of be like, hey guys, this is where I've been, miss you, not quitting the channel, just, I literally do not have it in me, don't have the energy, and that has to be okay. You don't fight to get away from a cult. You don't fight to get out of the clutches of a narcissist. You don't fight to get out of different toxic situations only to continue to push yourself beyond your limits. Let's see. I was trying to breathe through my diaphragm. So even though I'm anxious almost all the time, that's so good. I'm so glad that you have that, Gypsy Red. I did a lot of singing things while in school, and And so I'm very familiar with, breathing with your diaphragm and doing that intentionally. And I remember even when my chorus instructor, many, many moons ago, did the breathe, like, when you breathe, is it your chest or is it your abdomen, your belly? And I was like, oh yeah, it's your stomach, and that being so natural. And so when I learned that and actually assessed how I was breathing, it was like, what the heck, man? Like, when did I start doing that? I didn't even realize that the switch had happened. So I know what it is. I think that's natural. Most people naturally breathe with your diaphragm, and I don't know when the switch happened, but I'm really glad that you don't have that issue. Because I'm like, something that once was so natural and intentional, I can do even still if I'm like just kind of singing, but I have to do intentionally now, trying to retrain myself. But yeah, it impacts a lot. It impacts a lot. And so just really fighting to figure out the new balance. Like, what does having this channel look like for me? What will it mean for monetization? I don't know. You have to keep up a certain amount of watch hours, and I just can't commit to that rat race anymore. But I did want to come on. There is one lovely consistent subscriber who left a comment on one of my shorts, my YouTube shorts, like, are you okay? Are you alive? Where are you? Because I had been, pretty consistent and then just stopped. But it's just been rough. I'm like, oh, I don't know, you can't see the bruise anymore, but like getting blood drawn and just trying to find the answers. But in addition to that, all the physical things, then there's all of this mental residue, right? Like the flashbacks that don't stop, and the unexpected triggers, whether it's a smell or a song or a place or a word, and then all of a sudden you're transported, and you don't realize just kind of all of these thoughts and memories that are kind of ricocheting off your mind that you're sorting through and trying to put to rest and reconcile with. And like, yes, we're grateful to be able to survive and to come out on the other side, but it's not without a cost. And realizing that for a lot of us, it's like our bodies have and our minds have literally been through like a war. Um, and that is not easily kind of like brushed off. Um, so yeah, PTSD, CPTSD, which is the complex PTSD for people who have experienced traumatic incidences over long periods of time. Like, it's just a lot. And I guess what I would just want to say to anyone who is actively trying to recover from getting out of a cult, going no contact with a narcissist, maybe getting out of a marriage, that it can be a little disorienting to get out and feel fine and feel happy and find your footing, only to then realize, like, once you really start getting time to yourself and to breathe, that you're like, oh my God, like, I'm a wreck. I'm kind of left in shambles. So, I think now, though, when I'm at those times where I do have to lay down, I just think to myself, once upon a time, many, many moons ago, I wished I had this space to lay down. Obviously, I didn't want it to be like this. I didn't want to be hurting. I didn't want it to be because I felt like I couldn't do anything. But how beautiful it is that at least I don't feel like I have anyone judging me. I don't have anyone poking and prodding and pushing me. I don't have anyone guilting me. And I have a safe space that is all mine, and a life full of love where I can do this and I can tend to myself. Like, we set all these goals, and you're on the go. I've got to make this happen. I've got to make that happen. I've got to reach this goal. I've got to secure that. I've got to understand this. I got to, whatever. And then finally to get to the place and look around and say, like, oh my gosh, now it is time to tend to me. I think a lot of people who are subscribed to my YouTube channel can probably relate to the notion of very rarely, if ever, in your life having an opportunity for your sole focus to be on taking care of just you? Like what is that even? Um, so yeah, I don't know what it means for my channel. I don't want to quit the channel. There's still many more things to say. I think about you guys, this community often. I think of little ideas for videos, and I still post on TikTok. If anyone follows me over there, I'm not monetized there, but you know how every platform kind of has its own flavor, its own culture, its own vibe. And I'm going to be very honest, especially on the shorts feed, YouTube trolls are just brutal. And even though it's super easy to create a video on TikTok and repost it over here, I find myself sometimes having a slightly physical reaction to the thought. Because even though, and I've been doing content for years at this point, and I've encountered almost anything that can be said, like I'm used to it, I know, but at this stage right now with everything else I feel, I'm like, I just don't want to deal with the YouTube trolls. I can't. And so even the little bit that I probably could cross post over here, I just feel so, I think, sensitive and tired and protective over my energy that it's like, I don't even want to expose myself to the potential of stupid comments. So, um, yeah, I'm alive. I'm doing well. I'm in another part of the journey. I hope to come out on the other end having learned a lot and experienced a lot, and to be able to come and make content about it, and we can swap stories as we often do. If you're watching the replay, please feel free to leave a comment about maybe where you're at in your healing journey, things that you've discovered, what's helped, what's not helped. And yeah, that's it. Till next time, stay safe and stay free, because every day is a great day to not be in a cult.